Every day in the USA, people find themselves in court.
So this comes on for an order. An order was granted about a year ago, and then Ms. Barta and Ms. Dyer have asking to extend the order for a year. Ms. Demeter is here on behalf of Mr. Smith to oppose that. I've kind of heard a lot about this already. Ms. Demeter wanted me to review the guardian ad litem report, which I have now reviewed. And so I don't need to hear any other testimony. So I think I can hear, I mean, it's your motion. Ms. Barta, you're in court. I'll hear from you first, and just in terms of argument, then I'll hear from Ms. Dyer, and then I'll allow Ms. Demeter. And then I'll make a ruling. And so anything you need to tell me that I haven't already heard?
Probably not. I think we started going over.
And it's my understanding that I'm going to ask Ms. Dyer the same question. You've not had any contact with him in the last year, is that correct?
Not that I know of.
Okay.
That's my concern though with the stalking.
Okay, thank you. And then Ms. Dyer, anything you'd like to say at this time?
No, Your Honor. I think really it's that the evidence is kind of right there with the report and all the information. There's not a lot I have to add.
And then Ms. Demeter?
Yes,
anything
and thank you,
you'd
Your
like to
Honor.
say that?
Just for the record, Mr. Smith is present via Zoom today.
Okay.
Yes, thank you. Just in it, Your Honor has indicated that you've reviewed the report, and I think that, as Ms. Dyer indicated, the report speaks for itself, but in my opinion, in the completely contradictory way as what Ms. Dyer is saying. The police report is unequivocal that the incidents as described by Ms. Barta, the Dyers, it did not occur in the way that they said they were, and was the basis for this protection order. At the time that this was issued, Mr. Smith was unrepresented. He has not had contact with any of these parties. He has not reached out through any third parties, and the reissuance of these protection orders is completely unwarranted, and there is no need for them. And I appreciate Your Honor for continuing this so you could review those documents.
I'm sorry, can I just bring up one thing? I should have, and I'm sorry I didn't. I think the other thing that's missing from the guardian ad litem report and from Ms. Demeter's conversation is that's outlined in Officer Heggie's report is that although there's the misrepresentation issue, the guardian ad litem does not also mention that Mr. Smith and his father, Mr. Brian Smith, also alleged that in fact Ms. Barta shoved him, and no mention is made of that his misrepresentation is not in there.
Ms. Demeter, just please don't interrupt. Okay.
It's
And
outlined. Oh, I'm so sorry, Your Honor.
No, go ahead, Ms. Dyer. If you're done, you can tell me you're done, but if you want to continue, you may.
No, I find it concerning that it's there's only the misrepresentation from Miss Barta and then it's not mentioned at all that Mr. Smith participated in the same action, and then they're using that as the idea when I have 7 pages of documentation about Mr. Smith's poor behavior and his lack of ability to take responsibility, the high risk of recidivism, his own self-rating scales that indicate that he consistently is untruthful. It just bothers me that that's the way that Ms. Demeter chooses to represent the guardian ad litem's report when it's not truthful either.
So, well, here's the deal, ma'am. And again, I reviewed that guardian ad litem report. I looked at the petition, and all that, kind of what we're talking about and kind of what I'm hearing gets to the underlying issue that probably should have been litigated a year ago, and I'm not really, I'm kind of looking at different things now. And the thing in front of me now is to whether or not this order should be extended for a year, and a lot of that stuff in the guardian ad litem report and, the arguments from Ms. Demeter and, your response is like, well, maybe this order should or shouldn't have been granted back then. And that's not really in front of me here right now. And so I look at different things when I decide whether or not to extend orders or not. One of the things I look at, and we see this a lot in this calendar, and there is, has there been ongoing issues and ongoing problems and things of that sort? And we do see that a lot. And then I think it's appropriate to extend the order. But based on what I've heard, and I'm not second guessing what was done a year ago, that was heard by it wasn't in front of me, it was heard by a judicial officer. I'm not trying to second guess what he did at all. But with regard to whether or not the order should be extended for or not, what I'm hearing is that you haven't had any contact with Mr. Smith. The contentious dissolution he's involved in you may be acquainted with that person. And I do hear we don't know what he's doing, but I don't either. And I can't, speculate on enter and extend an order based on just, you might be doing this or might be doing that. We need to show that. And so that's kind of a long way of saying I'm not going to extend the order. The order's going to expire. I will tell you both, if there is an additional incident, you can refile and ask for another order. But if you have some demonstration of that, but for today, based on the performance of the last year, and as far as I can tell, compliance, again, I guess take a further step back, the point of these orders is to get someone to stop doing what they're doing. And then apparently, for what I've heard, as far as we know, it has stopped. And like I say, if something does restart, then you can of course refile and we'll take another look at it. But for the purposes of extending the order, I'm not going to do that for the reason stated that that's what I'm going to do here today. So the order will expire. But again, I'll say it again, if there's an additional incident that you can show an order is necessary, either or both of you are free to refile.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Thank
You're
you,
welcome.
Your Honor.
You're all free to
Your
go.
Honor, issue that order, or do I present?
Well, I think the order just expires,
It just
doesn't it?
expires. I do think that a denial of the request is typically what I see.
Yeah, I can enter an order that says their petition to extend the order has been denied if you wish.
Thank you, Your Honor.
You may
Thank
be
you,
free to go.
I hope you have a good day.
Andrew Pierce here. Come on up, take a seat. And then Margaret Green, is that you, ma'am? Come on up and take a seat. So, Mr. Pierce.
Yes, sir.
Could you raise your right hand, please? Do you swear and affirm the information and testimony you provide will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
So how is it you need an order against Ms. Green?
I think it's considered a stalking order. I don't know if that's the same.
Well, why don't you tell me why you need an order at all? And then
Okay.
we'll go from there.
I've only met her once. And the only communication we had since, I think, last September or October is July 23rd. She had messaged me through Facebook on the messenger, so not on anything like that. The screenshot is in there in the evidence. And that was just in recourse of me calling animal services on her dog biting my son. I think it's like this 15th or 16th slide down. And after that, pardon?
Well, okay, so has that been the only interaction?
So no, so she messaged me. I blocked her on Facebook, whatnot. I don't have her phone number, anything like that. 4 months go by. November 29th, she found my business page on Facebook, got on there, and then messaged me on there. Just namby-pamby, rattling on. I asked my ex-wife, who they used to live together, please tell her to stop communicating. And the only reason why we're here now is the last text message between these two stating, what's he going to do if I don't? So I don't know her. I don't know anything about her. I don't know what she's capable of or who she knows. All I know about her is from what my ex-wife tells me.
So where are these, and then, so do you live, this dog incident with what's this all about?
So they live together.
Still?
No.
Okay.
And I've custody of my son, so he would go over to their house or her house.
I see.
And There were some scratches on there,
Right.
whatnot, and then on the.
I saw that, and again, that's why I'm kind of confused by this. There's many pictures
Correct, so
of
it's
not
just,
you. And
it's-
so
it's-
but you're here, you're the petitioner. And so I'm trying to figure out why you need an order against her.
for harassment, just
Okay.
continued harassment. I don't have a relationship with her.
Okay.
We don't
All right.
talk.
And
The
you said
July-
those communications on Facebook Messenger are in the file?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
They're in the file, and then the messages between her and my ex.
Between her and her ex, that doesn't have anything to do with you. You're the petitioner here.
Correct.
And so,
Well, but I don't know her, so
Right.
so I've asked her, my ex-wife, in lieu of me going and talking to her, can you please tell her to stop?
and then she said, let me hear from Ms. Green.
All right.
Raise your right hand, please. Do you swear and affirm the information and testimony you provide will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
Okay.
All right. Mine's kind of long, sorry. All right, so I, Margaret Green, submit this declaration to provide the court with a truthful account of ongoing incidents involving Andrew Pierce, the ex-husband of my ex-roommate Aretha Pierce. When my roommate moved into my home, it was for her safety and stability because she expressed significant fear of Andrew.
Okay, so ma'am, I don't need to hear that.
Okay,
I'm not interested in what she has to say, and
Okay.
I'm not gonna listen to you use somebody else to badmouth someone else.
I'm not
And so hang
badmouthing.
on just a minute. So what you need to talk about is your interaction with him.
Okay.
Go ahead.
On July 23rd, he had made false claims against my dog. He was trying to attempt to have my dog euthanized. This allegation had no basis in fact. It created severe emotional distress and fear, particularly for my daughter. On October 3rd, he pressured my roommate into obtaining a background check against me. This was not done for any legitimate purpose and appeared intended solely to intimidate, harass, or exert control. On December
Again,
5th,
ma'am, you're not the petitioner here, just so you know.
I know,
Okay,
I'm just-
Go ahead.
these are the reasons that I think we're here and why I sent the messages that I did.
Okay.
I also was met with threats from him about how he would enter my backyard and shoot my dogs. And then because of the false allegations from him, the intimidation, I did send him 2 messages on Facebook. I did call him a derogatory term, and I also
Yes,
told
you
him,
did.
yes, sir. And I also told him that he was attached to his mother's umbilical cord.
And when was that?
On July 23rd, I told him that.
And then when was the last time you sent any sort of message?
It was November something. It was shortly after my roommate had moved out.
And then did anything happen to your dogs?
No, it was, there was a couple different attempts. He claimed that my dog had scratched his son, and then he claimed that my dog had bit his son.
All right.
Um,
Did you even know him much before all this happened?
no, he wasn't even supposed to have my address. The whole point of Aretha moving in with me was to get her away from him, and she gave
Alright.
him my address.
So Mr. Pierce, I'll come back to you. What's your
Pardon?
what's your response to what she just said? What happened with the dog and all that?
On which time? So the last time?
Yeah.
The last time should have been July 21st. My son was at their house.
Right.
My ex-wife had our son. He got bit on the thigh. He let me know, she let me know. And this was the fourth incident. I called Animal Services. Long story short, because I didn't report it prior. They don't count in the county's eyes. So I filed.
So were there more than one dog bites?
No. It was one dog bite.
Okay.
The prior pictures are scratches from this dog jumping on him.
So he's been injured by this dog before,
Correct.
and you never did anything about it.
I discussed it with my ex-wife to discuss it with Miss Green.
Okay.
And that was it. So anyway, the 21st, I called Animal Services, left them a voicemail. They called me back on Monday. They were closed. They filed a report with me, and then I guess they went over to her house to discuss my report. Hence the July 23rd message from her. That's cool and dandy. We wouldn't be here if it left like that. But my concern is 4 months passed and now we're getting more messages. What's going to happen in another 2 months or 3 months? Also, on my business page, my cell phone is listed. My business emails are listed. I don't really want to have any kind of harassment texts or phone calls. I haven't had any, but I don't want them in the future. I don't know if this is okay, if we can have a resolution where we're all adults and we just cut the BS and go our separate ways and agree to just stop,
Right.
I would be totally copacetic and happy with that. But it's out of my hands.
Right. Well, no, it is in your hands. You've heard some other people decide not to go forward for whatever reason. But I thought I saw Ms. Green nodding when you were talking about just going your separate ways and agree not to go back to the way things were when you didn't speak to each other. What say you, Ms. Green?
I like that idea.
All right. So here's what's going to happen today. And so I read the definition of harassment. Not everything is harassment. Not every conflict is harassment. Not every disagreement is harassment. Clearly there was an issue where you're obviously justifiably concerned about your child being injured by a dog. Ms. Green is obviously and justifiably upset a little bit about having, being a pet owner. I know the attachment folks can have with their pets. When you hear like your pet is under attack or being threatened, you might not respond well to that. I think you can agree, but I'm not sure that this would rise to the level of harassment anyway. But given that you're both here, kind of an airing of grievances or airing of dirty laundry, you're kind of on the same page where this can all just stop now.
Yeah, it kind of feels like a tit for tat at this point.
And let's just have no more
Yeah.
of either of those things.
No,
And
sir.
and then and he has an interest in, because again, I do hear this a lot. They're bad mouthing me. They're leaving bad Yelp reviews about my business because they don't like me and all this sort of
And I
stuff.
wasn't-
And
I wasn't
I don't
gonna
care
do
about that.
No, that was
okay,
not my
so personal.
intention.
all right.
Interaction.
Then so I'm not going to enter an order. It was a temporary order in this case.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so then that'll end today, and then you guys can just go on about your lives.
Sounds good to me.
But again, I'll tell you both, if there's any further instances, you can refile, but hopefully the idea of coming to court and having to go all through this is everybody who comes to court usually wants the same two things. They want to leave and they never want to have to come back. So whether or not you come back is going to be kind of up to you two folks.
I'm good.
You may go. If you want copies of this dismissal or denial order, you can wait for it. Otherwise, you're both are free to go. Get it off the website.
Thank you.
Are you going to wait for it or are you going to go ahead and go?
I'll go.
Okay.
Sam, can I go?
Yeah, you can.
Please.
I would do it now if you wanted it, but if it,
Nah, I'm good.
all right. Good luck, everybody.
Thank you.
You as well.